All right. Well, welcome back, everybody.
All right, good to be here. So, if you're just tuning in, we recently, um, thanks to a speech given by Connor, the townsfolk of Magecross have all been distracted, along with the suspicious carnival folk, um, giving Gaston ample opportunity to sabotage the various barrels of gunpowder that have been positioned around town. There are still barrels that exist in the circus tent at the edge of town that are unaccounted for. Um, but in the meantime, you can feel fairly confident that none of these buildings will explode.
Right.
Um,
Good. For now, the town's safe. We'll have to see what happens next.
that's true. The night of the carnival, the festivities are supposed to begin tonight, this very eve, um, at sundown. Uh, and it has been said, and you have probably learned this from the various carnival heralds, criers. Basically, the carnival folk have been passing out sweets to the children and also general like information about the carnival. Um, and yet, it seems that everyone is invited. That there is going to be a special guest announcement by a herald of the king that will begin the festivities, and it was intended to thank them for their or to celebrate the execution of the terrible villain Tassobianco, who had terrorized this town and the kingdom in general for quite some time, but had been brought to justice. Um, and basically free drinks for everybody and circus performances.
How they casually avoid naming anyone responsible for doing so. And if they are pressed, they probably say, "Well, the king did it."
Yes, the king's
The better
the
question is
king's agents.
yeah, who's behind the gunpowder plot?
I
Carnival
can't tell you
folk.
that.
Yeah, they do say Colonel's got the fun, and there's nothing more fun than gunpowder.
I've always held that to be true. Um, so yeah, you guys have the better part of the day remaining. If there's anything you'd like to do to prepare or to scout out, um, at least the better part of the day before this event takes place and this royal herald appears.
I do have a curious question. So when they were bringing barrels in, I mean that part was at least slightly obvious. Were they just like rolling them into town on the road, or did they like have a cart?
They had a cart. They had sort of a caravan set up.
Mhm.
All of their supplies were covered by brightly colored tarps.
Of course.
Um, and it was only this one at the back that was just loaded with these barrels. It's kind of hard to conceal. It's very obvious they're barrels. So when pressed, they said, "Yeah, this is complimentary wine for the festivities."
Right, of course. So I guess what I'm looking out for right now then would be if they're bringing in like the cart again with the newer barrels, in case they happen to bring in
Mm,
more when the festivities are going to occur or slightly before.
right. So, um, in the center of this town, there's sort of a raised platform. It could be like hangman's scaffolding, I guess, although it looks like it's probably used for any number of public announcements in the middle of the town square. Um, and over the course of the day, they have been setting up various stages around in this town square. There's sort of like a barrel has been rolled out that now is full of what looks like swords and different implements for like the juggling act that's been set up. So there's been stations for these carnival acts and performances that are being erected in the town square. And you'll notice that alongside some of these stations, there are more of these barrels. Um, all told, you count 3 of them that have been brought from the main circus tent out into the town square. Um, it'll be difficult to perform your trick here, though, because at this point, the town square is full of folk preparing, and there's not a lot of, like, corners to hide in to get this done.
Right, it's in the center of town in a public space where they're all surrounding it. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
able to necessarily do anything about that, but like they have a limited quantity there with them, which is kind of the
Sure.
more critical point. Now, there is something funny that could happen, which is to say, I am also in possession of thaumaturgy magic, which by explicit nature, no one who is not supernaturally inclined cannot tell that anything at all is happening. And I've already pre-scouted that absolutely none of them have any ability to do any sort of magic.
That's very true.
So if I were to go ahead and start causing misfortune to happen to them, they would be none the wiser to it.
I
Which
suppose so.
Which in this case, misfortune as a spell in particular is that you can cause things to drop out of people's hands. Ah, look how clumsy they are. Uh, if this were to maybe be applied to barrels as like a stunt in some way, maybe the barrels misfunction, a few nails come out, it kind of falls over and breaks.
I see. All right.
Or
Okay.
maybe people rolling them in, like accidentally roll them into a ditch.
Yeah, you can't use misfortune to do damage. You can only use misfortune to make people fumble.
Right, and here I'm just trying
Okay.
to say, can I apply this externality to an object?
And it is a
The
mystic
barrels
spell.
roll off of stage.
Well,
Mhm.
it's also a mystic spell, which means that only other people with supernatural can confirm that you're doing it. Although you
Yes.
will look kind of goofy.
I will look kind of
Mhm.
spooky, but I mean at the same time, no one can tell what's happening or that I'm doing it, which
Well,
is what I prefaced it with. That's why I think this can work if I can do something with it.
are you
Okay.
using a wand?
The wand would mean that I would have no range penalties to do so. However, I could just do it in my hands and no one would know that I have a magical
Right.
implement.
Because you're using it,
Yeah, if I'm
the
waving it
super.
around, it suddenly is slightly less subtle, isn't it?
That's true.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm all for this. I'm gonna try to see. Do you have a page number for misfortune?
I do not. However, I can go ahead and post the information line I have on it, which is
That'd
generally
be
Yeah,
that
great.
it is a disarm.
yeah, it's in the weapons chapter because we put all the attack spells in the equipment chapter, which I know
Right.
confused.
Right. Specifically, it is I am rolling versus 3 to get with mind and supernatural, and I am seeing if I get more successes than someone else rolls with body and observation.
Okay.
If it
Well,
applies to an object, like making the object roll over, the barrel probably doesn't do anything. But if people are going to pick it up and move it back into place, then shenanigans happen.
right. I think I would prefer this as a roll against one of the carnival workers who is
Hmm.
currently like rolling one of these barrels or setting it up somehow, because then
Right,
that's
I
something we can
agree.
roll against. So let's do that.
So,
Um,
we're about to have some hilarity happen. So, I am casting magic. I can, in fact, aim it, which makes this even better.
ooh,
But I
all
could
right.
also be at a distance. So, that's the question of how close ought I get to this? I can't pull up
Um,
my book right now. I think it's a medium range spell, isn't it?
Yes.
So that would mean if
okay.
I wanted to do it at the furthest possible increment, I think that's like a D12 to their defense because of
Right.
range. And that's
Yeah.
because I'm not waving the wand around. I think I will constrain it to short, however. I don't want them rolling a
Okay.
D12 versus my D12.
Now, short range has no penalty. Is that correct? Let me just double check my notes
Yeah,
here.
double check the range increment. I may be wrong about all this too.
Okay,
Short range is
short
a
range is
D8
up to
typically.
12. It's a D8.
Yep,
Medium range is 36, and it's a D12.
so they can get a D8 to their body and observation to resist this.
Okay. Okay.
So, I am
I
at
think we're
a...
gonna do that.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make my roll to see how well I do. I have 2 successes.
And they're going to, with the range penalty, it will be 2d6 and a d8.
Oh, they actually are observant.
They are observant.
All right, so that is a tie.
A tie.
Uh,
Okay. So is this a case by case thing with magic? There are specific tiebreakers, or does
If
magic
it's
fail in the
if it's
case of a
a
tie?
tiebreaker on successes, it goes to the defender.
right, so in this case, nothing's really happening to them yet. I can
Right.
persist because I can refresh and do it every other round.
Okay. Then
But
what we
nothing
will
happens
say,
yet.
nothing happens yet. The guys that are they're moving these barrels. It almost slips out of his hands. This sort of burly dole, I guess, sort of slips from his hands, but he catches it and he sort of sets it down. And the guy that's working with him says, "Hey, hey, careful with that!" And then kind of leans in and is like, no, 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 gives him kind of a stern talking to.
Mhm.
And the guy just shrugs, like what? I don't know. So wipes his palms off on his tunic.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna try it again.
Yep, here's a second attempt to do it. I may not have very many before they're just not handling them anymore. However, this time I have, again, 2 successes. Dang, I'm really fishing for 3 here. And this isn't a circumstance where personality would be great either. Well, I mean, I
Uh,
could roll it and try to get that 1 success, actually. I'm gonna do it.
would you
My
like to?
personality's
You're
gonna
gonna do
be
it?
on it. I want it to happen.
Okay, okay.
I am determined to stop their shenanigans, and with 3 successes, I beat their 2 successes.
There you go. Okay, and your personality, to clarify, is determined. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. So you're just like, no. You can see you're using your magic again. You can see that this barrel is on the verge of tipping out of this guy's arms, but his buddy's like, "You can do it again." He rushes over, but you're like, "No." And a little extra magic gets in through, and this barrel fumbles out of both of their hands. It bounces once on the side
Mhm.
of the dais, and then falls off, hitting the ground and exploding. And this one appears to be filled with a thick, viscous oil that immediately spills out across the cobblestones and gravel and seeps into the ground. And the the two carnival workers immediately begin arguing with one another over whose fault that is.
That's not wine. That's not wine.
That's not wine.
That shit so I prove it's flammable.
Mm,
Nothing
you're not gonna
stops you
let
from drinking it.
Ugh, no, no.
nothing stops you from but the fact it's an edible sludge. I mean, besides that,
Um, this is so yeah, is someone going to approach with the "that's not wine" accusation? Is that in character?
that would be you, Connor. You should do that.
Yeah, this is definitely, not something that somebody working with the king should have if they're, up to any kind of good like this carnival is supposed to be. So yes, he'll come up and, waving his ring in his face and, you there, what's the meaning of this? What is this? It smells horrible.
He says, "Ah, my lord, this is not this is you are correct. This is not wine. This is for part of the pyrotechnic display for the opening ceremony. Our juggler requires it for his act, you see. Luckily, we have some spare barrels, so it shan't be a problem. Please try
This
not to get
is
it on you, sir."
this is quite excessive for a simple show.
Well, we use these barrels in multiple performances. It's easier to transport them in bulk like this, you see. We haven't had any accidents so far. And he shoots a look at the other guy who he thinks is responsible for dropping the barrel twice now.
Well, I have absolutely no inquiry die, so I believe you.
Right, you are, sir. Very good. Once again, please don't get it on you. It's foul stuff. Um, you there, Jacob, come bring another barrel out. Be careful this time. We only have so many left.
And, of course, the shenanigans will ensue. Now,
Okay.
the first time, I'm more than willing to say that there's no chance they could ever figure it out. 2 or 3 times, I'm reasonably certain that they have a chance to eventually realize that Gaston is a bad omen, if nothing else. Like,
Agreed.
hey,
Agreed.
here's this person who's just been hanging around all these accidents. That doesn't mean anything, right?
Right. At this point, I think while we're going to proceed is that should you roll a 1 on any of your further rolls, you're going to start piquing people's suspicion. But you're
Right.
welcome to roll as much as you want.
I definitely will, and given how it went last time, I don't like them rolling 3 dice against my 4. That hasn't been working in my favor. They've been too lucky. So I'm going to try to do this by getting even closer to them.
All right, all right.
Uh,
That'll reduce their roll to 2d6.
Yup. Which will put me under 12 paces, I think. I forget when short ends again.
12 paces. You're right.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty close to
Um,
them. I'm just weirdly hanging out in their general vicinity, and something terrible's about to happen. Dang,
oh,
there's no
uh,
good luck for me. Everything's in
no,
my
there
favor.
isn't.
However, I could go ahead and maybe choose on Supernatural that Misfortune or Thaumaturgy is my
Mhm.
specialty.
I usually go
And
by the
re-roll one of those
spell.
ones.
Yeah, so by the spell Misfortune, I'm going to re-roll the 12.
Okay.
No! Why? Why am I
Not enough.
forsaken so frequently?
Dice are not in your favor this day.
That's okay. I'll have more attempts, but well, let's see how this
Well,
happens. What are you saying?
so yeah, so basically the two set about their work again. They roll another barrel up from the tents. They're getting it up the stairs, and it begins to tip. But this time they have a third guy watching who rushes up. He catches it, and they said, "Oh yeah, put it down, put it down, put it down." And the guy who seems to be kind of the mastermind of this operation is looking at the barrel, and he's like, "Nah, that's not. There's no way." He begins to like scan the crowd for people, and he makes eye contact with you for just a moment before you glance away,
Hmm.
and he gets a little bit of a his eyes narrow slightly. So he steps off the platform and he says, "You two get those barrels where they need to be." And now he's got his arms crossed, and he seems like he's checking you out now.
Right, and technically, he will notice not anything happening because of me, because he's
Mm.
not supernatural. But if it happens often enough that I'm just in proximity, and I've already announced I'm a weird magic person, he could, in an investigative manner, put it together that something is happening because of me. However, I'm
Indeed.
still gonna do it.
Oh, all right, man. Let's do it. I think so. How should we do this? Should this be like maybe an additional penalty for him being suspicious, or maybe a higher DC for you to get away with it?
I mean, he can't help them grip it harder.
That's true. If it's gonna
However,
happen,
the
it's gonna happen.
however, what's going to happen is he might come over and harass me.
That's right.
That
Okay.
I think is the consequence of what's going to happen. He will eventually get suspicious and superstitious.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see if you manage to mess up this other barrel. They're gonna be rolling 2d6.
Gosh dang, I need.
Oh, but hey,
Okay, it is enough this time. They've
it's enough.
finally got less than 25%. Another barrel down the drain.
All right, another one. And now this guy, one of the doles kind of shrugs, is like, "I'll go get the last barrel," but this guy says, "Yeah, you do that. You stay there, stay by these other barrels." And then he marches off. He marches right up to you, Gaston,
Hmm.
and he says, "Hey, you there? You seem to be taking an interest in the a setup over here. Um, what's your? Do you have? You know what? Forget that." He comes right up to you. He's a brute. He says, "You've got a problem. I can help you with something."
Oh, no problems at all. In fact, I'm just simply enjoying my time in this village. It's such a peaceful place, you see. I, I just think about all the things that could happen here, and, well, I can only think of good things, you see.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you're distracting my boys there, and we don't appreciate it. So if you would kindly, and he gives you the little, jog on.
Yeah. One second, I'm just checking my dice pool for something if you don't mind, because I'm realizing I
No,
didn't
no, it's
add
fine.
a full dice on a different spell that I'm interested in doing in a few seconds here to the...
All
Okay,
right.
so I needed to add the extra that. There we go. And I'll say, well, to that I say, those who know nothing should know not to speak.
I think he's getting a little bit mad.
I think he is, however, he's going to become silenced. This is a oppositional roll. Much
Oh
like
boy.
misfortune, however, like misfortune, uh, nobody can tell anything is happening.
All right. What are they rolling? Let's see. You said body speed, will, supernatural. Mine will supernatural. So they're rolling body speed, will, and supernatural.
Yes. So they will have
Okay.
3 dice on this, just
How
because
do you
they
know?
exist. However, they
Just
obviously don't
because.
have supernatural.
Yeah, they don't have supernatural. Okay, so it's gonna be 3d6.
Right. So we'll see if how this works out. That is
Yeah.
2 in my favor. The
Okay.
T12, why is it always a 1? Ah,
Oh,
the
and
luck. It's
two
just
in
the luck.
there. It's just the luck.
So instead, I
Um,
have to continue talking to him. Ah, that's the worst.
yeah, he's mad now. He's gonna try to flex on you a little bit. He's gonna say, "Listen, we're here on orders from the king, and we've been given explicit permission to to handle anyone who intends to interfere with our business. Now, I'm only going to ask you one more time with my mouth. After that, it'll be with these." As you can see, I'm maybe not well versed in intimidating people, but yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, he cracks his knuckles.
he's trying to scare me. You could definitely roll that if you wanted to, and I could try to resist. Or I could just take him up on the offer, of course.
I think that's where we're at.
Right, so
Would you
I will
like
say,
to?
like, well, I also know you don't necessarily want a spectacle before you're spectable. How about we go over here and we can settle our differences?
Prove you're the better fighter.
Oh man.
And
Um.
I am
Yeah. I
I
mean,
am accepting his challenge for an honorable duel.
I like that, and he's going to accept. Not very
Uh-oh.
honorable, a very honorable man, but he'll accept.
And
Um.
we'll walk over somewhere slightly private.
Slightly private. Yeah. Definitely just out of the main quad area.
Which he'll like because if I die off screen, then he doesn't have to worry about witnesses or anything. And it's good for me
Yeah.
because if he dies off screen, his friends don't have to worry about it.
Exactly. You
So
found
it's
a moment of
great.
commonality. Yes.
Yeah, we can both agree we want the other to die and no one to find out.
Right? Let's say you guys you go right out to the edge of town, which isn't very far,
Mhm.
but you can see the beginning of the woods, and there's maybe like a small pond nearby.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so he goes like, "Now it's been a while since I've had a little bit of fun." He's cracking his knuckles. He's doing his pre-brawl stretches. Ugh.
And so what's your weapon of choice then?
Oh, I choose these, and he extends his claws.
Ah, a simple man. I can appreciate that. And I'll go ahead and, of course, flex my blade. Just give it like a little spring, because it's an epee after all.
Oh, nice. Springy. I just realized I shot myself in the foot. Now I have to pull up the natural weapons table. But okay, here we go.
Claw is body, species, and brawl, and it is damage +1 critical. I already have that, because I also have claws.
All right, all right. Um,
So, if he's a brawler, he gets the extra d6, otherwise he's rolling 2d6.
yeah, I think it's just going to be 2d6, honestly.
Okay. He's doomed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, listen.
Alright,
um,
so probably we're both initiating this, so it's up to you to decide who goes first on this. We're both obviously have weapons ready. we both are here for a fight, so we're probably not rolling initiative itself.
Yeah, well, if it's a duel, and like if it says if you really care, if it's contested who goes first, you could roll initiative and let the higher roller go first. It
Right.
doesn't
I
really
like
matter.
That probably is
do that.
important.
Let's do that in this case, because you're right. I think it is important who gets the first strike, because this could be over before this guy even touches you. So he's going to roll 2d6 in it.
He has 2 successes.
Okay, all right. Is that
Unless it's
traditionally how they use?
contested.
Unless it's 6 high, like it's
Yeah,
either...
you think this is a contested because we're opposing each other, or...
Well, you're opposing each other to see who goes first, but you're
Yeah.
still rolling to successes to see who starts to focus.
Yeah, in this case, I outclass him then, I would suppose, right?
In this case, yeah, I'm not granting focus. Everyone's going to start with a
Yeah.
readied weapon. So
Yeah,
it's
again,
just
this
a
wasn't for
matter of...
focus or ready weapon. This was just, I am taking the first turn.
I think so. So
Assumably, also, this is a duel. We're close enough to already fight, so I will simply aim and stab him.
Aim and stab.
And of
Go
course,
for
he
it.
will
He's gonna
counterattack, and
parry. Or
everything
counter.
probably happens in just this single lightning second.
Yes. Yes, it will. Okay. Yep, 2d6 for his brawling.
Here's my
Cha!
roll. Oh,
Yeah.
well, if I didn't
Well,
aim,
one
that
hit.
would have been worse. That is 1 hit, however, it is 4 damage, and I'm going to ask, is he going to retreat?
Yeah, he's gonna retreat. Yes.
Alright, he retreats, and I won't follow him. So it is going to be 4 damage he has to deal with.
All
If he
right.
soaks nothing, he's dying.
He's not currently clad in armor. He's got kind of like a carnival dress, so it's gonna be normally he'd have 3d6. It's gonna be 2d6 though. So he's going to soak 1 of that damage.
Still 3.
Still 3. So basically, the fight is pretty much over before it begins.
I have shown him up, and now it is up to him to say he surrenders.
Yeah, he's not happy about it, but he is afraid. So he was gonna like grip his side, which now has a pretty nasty wound in it, and limp a few feet away and go like, "I yield, I yield." Oh,
Very well, I accept.
bloody cheap bastard! This is
You should know
fine.
better than to harass the honor of your betters.
He just gives you like a snarl out the side of his mouth, and
And
he
of course,
says, "You should hope we don't meet again."
well, if you do, at least between then and now, you can tell everyone how you were bested by the most perfect swordsman in the land.
By the
And I'll go ahead, I'll just put it back in, and I'm gonna go back to town.
All right, all right. So yeah, he's gonna limp back, back into town as well, but sort of around town, hoping not to draw much attention to himself. He'll head back to the circus tent.
And I get to ruin another barrel.
And you get to ruin 1 more barrel. I think at this point, the other guys they're just trying to get the job done. So
Oh, these poor people. Just doing their best.
I got 1 success.
I have 1 success as well. However, I can re-roll the d8.
Do it.
Oh my gosh, I can't re-roll for anything.
You can't escape these ones.
Well,
Listen,
they'll
I'm
have
gonna
like a
say-
whole 1 barrel of oil, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that at this point
I
they're
had to
done
go and
setting
fight
up.
someone, so they've had plenty of time.
Yeah, they're all set up. Evening is falling. It's now imminently time for the festivities to begin. Everyone is sort of gathered in the town square. Most of the townsfolk are gathered in the square. There are the carnival workers. They're all dressed in colorful outfits, making them look just ridiculous. The old man, the old badger who was heading the carnival caravan, is waiting out on one of these daises. And as night falls, they've lit torches that they've arranged around, illuminating the town square. I'm gonna pass it over to Connor and Anushka. We've had a bit of there's been some time between we last checked in with you guys. Is there anything in particular that you would like to have done in preparation for this moment, or are you just ready to jump right in?
Oh, yeah. When do we leave to go check on the palace to see if they unveiled the sword or not?
That's a no then from Anushka. I guess Connor, what have you been up to?
I don't know. He's become pretty invested in that porcupine lad, so he'll be more or less just keeping an eye on him.
Cool. This porcupine guy has stuck by your side this whole time. He's yeah, he's just hanging on your every word pretty much. And he's kind of gotten more comfortable. So at this point he's sort of like pointing out things around the town, telling you a little bit about the town history and the individuals that work there. None of it's particularly interesting stuff. Um, but he does draw your attention to the fact that it looks like there are emissaries that have arrived um, along the road that you yourselves came from, and it looks like they're royalty. He points out the Triskellion banner, which of course you need no help identifying. But I don't know. This kid is now like he's gotten over his nerves and he's just talking about anything he can think to talk about with you. But you take notice too that quite a number of Triskellion guard have arrived. These guys are clad in respectable armor, and they're wearing the colors of the throne. And there's one individual in particular who you have seen before. He is the albino jackal known as De La Vega, who you spoke to at the palace. Um, and he exits a very yes. Sorry. No. Okay.
I heard something too.
So he has arrived in a very elegant carriage, and he steps out, clad head to toe in black, like well, like a badass. I'm gonna say. Um,
Black robe, or in black armor, or in a black tunic?
Black leather armor. It's very
Okay.
musketeer. It's very he wears
All right.
another what do you say, an epee, right?
He's
A fencing
fashionably
sword
on
at his side.
duty.
Yeah, yeah. And as always, he has this ridiculously large black musketeer hat. Mm. He looks around. He just has general disdain for everything that he lays his one good eye on. And he meets your gaze there, Connor. Um, he says something to his guards, and they sort of. It doesn't look like they're moving into the town. It looks like they're setting up a perimeter around the town. And then he strolls up to you with one hand resting on his sword hilt. Not like he's ready to draw it, but just kind of like aloof, sort of just swaggering.
It's a
And he
place for his hand to be at that
It's
point.
a resting
place.
position. Otherwise, he'd just have his
Exactly.
hands on his hips and go like, "Yeah, what do you want?"
Pretty much, pretty much. So yeah, so he kind of strolls right up to you, Cotter, and he says, yes, it is a pleasure to see you here. We um, were worried when your messenger delivered the package to the palace that we wouldn't have the pleasure of meeting again to congratulate you on a job well done."
Well, thank
Ah,
you.
yes. Well,
Good
we
that
had
you
to
should
attend the
recognize.
festivities first, but we had hoped to see you soon and tell you of all of our progress. The sword has been delivered in full, correct?
When you
Anushka has said
say
as such.
when you say all of that, he doesn't even look at you. His eyes are just locked onto Connor, and he just acts like you didn't say anything.
Of course.
It's an honor to be recognized by the king and his men.
Yes, of course, now, and especially after completing two quite difficult tasks for him, I'm sure that you are considered a bit of a rising star around the palace these days.
Excellent news. Thank you for bringing it to me.
Oh, well, that's not my purpose for being here.
Of course.
No, I am here to initiate the festivities. So I do hope that you will stay. I'm sure that it will be quite illuminating for everyone, um, if you don't mind. And he will.
I will stay if it's the king's will.
He kind of looks back over his shoulder and he says, The king's will, I guarantee it. And with that parting shot, dripping with malice, he strolls up to the dais, um, and turns to address the gathering crowds. The carnival workers all begin to sort of usher people into the center of the town square. Um, you guys are getting gently ushered as well, but it doesn't look like you are completely um, powerless in this situation. What's you gonna do?
I'm going to be a part of the crowd. I want to focus my attention, of course, on the one barrel remaining, so I'm going to keep that in eyesight. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Gotcha. All right. The barrel is on the dais. Um, on this platform now, there are two of the carnival workers. One of them is the large rhino juggler. The other one is one of the doles. Both of them are kind of standing at attention. There's two of the royal guard that came with De La Vega who are kind of flanking him, and they've taken up positions next to the stairs up to this platform in the center of town. Um, and the barrel is up there as well with everyone. So you guys kind of join the rest of the crowds. De La Vega uh, raises a hand, silencing everyone, and he says, "Good people of Mage Cross, um, I am De La Vega. I come representing the king himself, and I bring glad tidings to you all. Um, we are here to celebrate the removal of Tassobianco, a scourge to the land, and an enemy of the good king Vaslov Jakoba." And he pauses for applause, of which there is some tepid applause. He says, "Yeah,
Of
yep,
course, Connor leads it.
I gotta applaud myself.
it's true. I mean, Connor, you were slaying this crowd earlier today. This guy, his skills are not on par." He continues, he says, "As you know, I have come to deliver the king's will, and as such, I have an official writ." And he pulls a scroll from his pocket, from his vest, and unrolls it. And he says, "It is by order of the king that all who are involved in the treasonous actions of Tassobianco be put to the sword, or to the flame. Uh, it has been determined by His Majesty's servants that the townsfolk of Mage Cross were complicit in these dealings, and as such have been sentenced to death, um, alongside the bandit leader."
Wait, what?
He signals to one of the carnival folk, who will push this barrel over the side into the arms of one of the others, who carries it over to the front of the mayor's house and cracks it open, and it begins to just douse the side of the house, the building, with this thick viscous oil. You can see that one of
Mhm.
the royal guards has taken up a torch and is approaching the house as well. He says, "You all have been sentenced as traitors to the crown, and will now serve your sentence by fire in the name of the king." Um, and at that, the crowd has begun to panic.
A little
A
Mhm.
little bit. It looks like the carnival folk are all now wearing predatory grins, and as people begin to try to push their way out of the crowd, they are sort of hemming them in, grabbing them, throwing them back, um, and laughing all the while. The King's Guard have sort of surrounded the town square, and they have their, I believe their halberds are drawn, sort of daring anyone to escape. And we're going to quickly
This got
transition.
ugly.
Yep.
It's got ugly.
Goodness.
All right, nice map. Hey, there's the
Thank you.
platform.
There's your platform. This is the general town square area. So anywhere within here, you guys can position yourselves.
Yeah, just drop myself in the middle there. That's good.
I'm not going to load this down with tokens, but imagine that there's crowds of
Yeah,
townsfolk around.
that'd be difficult. We just need the ones we're gonna kill.
Exactly. So imagine that there's like 6 of these royal guard positioned sort of at the entries into this
Mhm.
area, the 2 and a handful of these carnival workers as well, and this house to the north here is what they're currently dousing with oil, about to put to the flame.
Right. And how far away is that house now?
It's a good question. Let's see.
Hey, that's within 12 meters.
Oh yeah, all right.
Isn't that a funny circumstance? If only there was someone who had an ability that functioned at that range, specifically do the thing I've been doing all along.
All along. Now's
Uh,
your time.
if you would allow that, I'd like to have them make a mockery of themselves.
Let's give that a try. Okay.
So these
It's the
guys are
same
a little
guys.
tougher than the others, so they might actually have an even better chance of this. However, it's still body and observation. Oh, actually, if they're just soldiers, they might not have observation.
Yeah, so the
The rogues were
soldiers are
better.
sort of the rogues were better. Well, it's actually these guys, the rogues who are still carrying it. They're the ones who are dousing.
Oh, okay. So it's still a
Um
bunch of the rogues then.
exactly. There's one soldier with them that has a torch, but his job is just to do the torch throwing and he's not really. I mean, I guess you could target him and maybe he drops his torch. It's an option.
That would be hilarious, and he drops it into like the fire preemptively, and just everyone around there ignites.
Just ignites. Yep.
I, that's perfect. Why don't I try that?
Give it a try. Let's see it.
He has
Okay.
less resistance,
He's
and
going to
I
be
have
rolling.
4 successes. He
Oh
can't
crap.
win.
Yeah, yeah, you know what? I don't think he can win this.
I mean,
Um
does he have like 4 body D12s?
No, he's
no.
destroyed.
He's destroyed. So we're just going to go with it. All right. So as this guard approaches the now doused side of this building, uh suddenly a bit of strange wind catches the torch and ember falls on his exposed hand and he flinches and the torch tumbles from his hand onto the ground where this barrel has been sitting, and fire immediately catches onto these hapless carnival folk who go up in a blaze and begin screaming. This incites additional panic in the crowds who are now shown exactly the the means by which they're all about to be executed, and they begin just making an all-out panic break for it.
Mhm.
De La Vega sort of shakes his head and hops off the platform. He looks like he is planning to make his exit from this scene and let his lackeys take care of the rest of it. But at this point, I'm going to have you guys roll for initiative. Or I guess, well, let's see. I think in terms of the combat that you will be partaking in,
Mhm.
you will be the ones initiating. So I guess it's kind of on anyone you choose to
No, no,
attack with
we're not the
initiative.
aggressors here. They went crazy on us.
Okay,
Yeah.
just because like they're kind of going crazy on everybody. No one's singling you out specifically, but
Mhm.
yeah, okay. And let's do this.
I mean, we didn't pull out weapons and start shooting people. They
That's
pulled out
true.
weapons
They
and
did.
started setting people on fire.
Right.
Indeed, indeed. Okay.
So now I have to actually choose. I'm gonna probably say I have my blade out, my epee.
And I think Connor has decided to no longer become a loyalist or be a loyalist.
They did just try to
All right.
burn and execute you. The burning
Well,
won't
is
really be a
Yes.
success, but
the real question is this legit or is Della Vega doing this?
apparently he read
I
out
mean,
a writ from the king, and the king ordered it in the first place, and then just followed through.
well, that's what I want to find out. We need to find out what
And
document that is Della Vega has in his hands because he could just stand up there and be saying anything.
true, true.
So let's go after Della Vega and get that writ out of his hand to prove its legitimacy. If it is sealed by the king, then the king ordered this. Otherwise, Della Vega could just be lying about all this.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is pretty heinous, even for Vaslov Jakoba.
Oh, as part of initiative, you can ready a weapon or
Mhm.
2 weapons if you're ambidextrous and take a stride. So there's my stride.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't have anywhere I think I want to
So
stride to.
we're where's De La Vega? Which one's De La Vega? Is that the blue guy on the podium?
Yeah.
This is actually the large rhinoceros. So I know that was confusing.
Mhm.
De La Vega is making his exit. Let me put a token down for him as
Yeah.
well.
Because
These
I'm
guys are
going
on
after.
fire over here, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the big. Yep, that's the fire pit.
Yeah, because I'm going after De La Vega.
Okay, he's up here. He's headed out to the north there. All right. Oh God. And I'm going to say that this immediate area, this courtyard area, is currently going to be a little bit tricky to move around in due to just like the throngs of bodies and the general chaos.
Mm-hmm. Well, good thing a lot of us can
yeah.
fly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. Actually, I guess.
See you
Why
later,
not?
Connor.
I am going to throw down a token for Father Elrich,
Mhm.
because I'm going to assume that he's here too. And I am going to, for rallying purposes, I am also going to, unless Connor, you want to talk to the boy Potter, he's gonna sticking by your side.
He's gonna rally him every turn. Perfect.
I'd tell him to stay with the priest.
Okay, and by that you mean Father Elrich.
Yes.
Gotcha. I don't have a better token, so he's gonna be this dude with the horn helmet. So
Yeah, that's fine. We'll
yeah.
just remember it. You can actually give it a name if you want.
I've never actually done that. Let's see though.
Yeah.
Represents character name.
Oh, you
Name.
know what I'll do for
Yeah.
the kid? I'll give him my mace, just in case somebody does get close to him.
You will have to
The
do two
best day of
things
his
to
life.
display the name. You'll have to do the check box next to where you type the name, and up
Yes.
above that is going to be a 3-dot button. If you click that, you should click C.
Mm-hmm. Got it. You're right. Save settings.
There
See
you
it
go.
now?
Potter. There he is. Perfect.
Awesome.
It
Thank you.
worked.
I'll do that for De La Vega as well.
Yeah.
All right, nameplate. Bam. Save settings. The rest of these guys are nameless mooks. Just, yeah. Who
Yeah.
cares, really?
There's soldiers, there's rogues, there's a rhino.
Right. Okay. So these guys are going to. Currently, their orders are just to keep people from fleeing the courtyard. So they're basically just going to kind of step in menacingly, take a stride, and guard.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is on fire, so we're just going to ignore him. Yep. De La Vega, he's making his way north, so he's made it that far. And this large rhino dude is going to sort of be observing the spectacle from the dais, and he's going to send his two mooks out into the crowds. They're also similarly going to be guarding. So everyone's just kind of moving and guarding, and that's it for right now. Oh, I should pull out that token that is the cheat sheet. Status legend. There we go.
Yep. Yeah, just hurl it over there. Perfect.
Cool. And you know what I'm also going to do is this can be controlled by everybody. So if for some reason you want to relocate this status thing, you're going to do so.
Okay.
Okay, and it's going to be your guys' action.
All right. I'm going after De La Vega.
All right, you know what you're doing. Do it.
First, I'm going to sprint towards him.
All right, roll your sprint die.
Terrible roll. All right. I will move a whopping 3 and then another 4 because I can add or subtract my man, I did not. What a crappy roll.
Oh, also, you're still injured. Let's mark that down.
I know, I'm still injured.
Boom.
Let's see. Am I honorable? No. De La Vega is probably really good. And I only have the one pistol. Yeah, I guess I'll just dash. I'm gonna go ahead and dash to here and stride to here, because then after that I drift because I'm a bat.
Right, and you're flying.
which is 3. So I'll actually drift to here.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
That's it. I'm done because I'm going after him. So I accidentally overshot and got ahead of him.
All right,
No,
all right. He looks up at you with his good eye and says, "Ugh, you." And you can see that he's gonna be pulling something, drawing a weapon
yeah,
of some kind. It's not gonna be
well,
his sword.
when it's his turn, he'll do something.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next?
I shall guard and stride. No, stride's one. What's the move that's not random? Dash.
Dash.
Yeah.
Dash to there. And have a little face off. Actually, no, I'm gonna.
All right.
That is guard. It is guard. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot my own color scheme for a second there.
Oh God, we're lost. If you can't remember, we're doomed. Okay. So Connor has his weapon out and is approaching the nearest guard.
All right. Well, it's someone guarding versus someone attacking, so that's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna take a wild guess these guys are soldiers with veteran.
Yes, they are. And I'm trying to figure out what they're armed with. I thought I had it written down, but it's some sort of a spear.
They said like a
Helmet?
halberd, right?
I did, but I'm gonna be honest right now. In the world of like pole arms, I am totally lost. There's so many. They all have different stats generally, and I can never tell them apart.
Well, I mean,
Halberd.
there are at
The
least all
helmet.
listed over in the equipment section. I'd pull it up and
Halberd
give
is
you a
the
reference right now,
extreme.
but I can't.
Halberd's in there.
It's in there. It's a little bit extreme for what I was intending here.
Yeah,
So
might be a little bit much, but we'll see.
Well, halberds are expensive weapons. So, do you think these guys would be armed with expensive weapons?
honestly, they were sent here to just do crowd control. Like they could be armed with expensive weapons, but they're counting on the gunpowder and the oil to be so the work here. Um,
Yes, they would more likely be armed with spears.
yeah,
Right. And of course, spear is just a great weapon when you're going against a crowd.
Well, long spear, right? Well, because also a spear is a good all-purpose weapon. It's long. You can hold it this way, point, keep it from coming.
that's what
And
I was
long
looking for.
spear is on page 93. It's simple. It
Yep,
just does impaling damage. The anything that does impaling damage is good because people have to back away from you to avoid taking damage.
it's true. And in this case, in a crowd, that's going to be challenging.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
they're probably armed with spears. There's a reason why they're extremely popular in
Good.
the entire medieval era.
2 hands, reach, body, melee, and combat.
Yeah.
body
2
melee.
hands,
And
damage
damage
plus
plus
2
2.
impaling.
Yep.
Yep, damage plus 2.
If they're
Yep.
long spears, are impaling.
Yep,
They
and they're
are.
long spears, so they are impaling. Damage plus 2 impaling. That looks good. And they have reach. Now in this world, reach is just an extra pace of threat range and attack range, right?
That is absolutely true. It works at 2 paces, but not at 1.
But not at once. So Connor
Yeah.
closing this close is actually a bad thing for this guy.
He's gonna
That's
have to
good to know.
dodge. Oh no.
Oh no. All right.
He
But I
can
think that
still
was
parry,
oh okay.
which is a counterattack that doesn't do any damage. That was a rule in Ironclaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
Potter's now watching over my backpack. If I left it
Gotcha.
on, I'd be burdened.
Good. Good thinking. Potter he's got this backpack like slung over his shoulder and he's got what was it, a mace? Just like
Yes.
held out, like ready to do God's bidding. All right. And Connor, you moved and guarded, right? So that's it for your action.
Yes.
So we're still waiting on Gaston and Father Elrich. If you guys would like,
Mhm.
you can rally somebody.
Okay. Well, my plan here is I'm gonna do my favorite trick, which I keep doing, which is put misfortune into my offhand, and then I'm going to make someone lose their weapon.
Ooh,
While Connor is busy rolling. I'm
I'm not doing
probably
anything.
going to do this one so that this guy doesn't get to go and fight on De La Vega's behalf. That would be terrible for Anushka.
that would be bad. So that's wise choice.
Mhm. I'm not aiming anymore. However, I'm still a proficient magician.
A proficient magician you are.
Yep, so
And this
they're
guy
rolling
is.
body observation. We've already clarified that they're soldiers, so they got the 1 die.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So
And it's
here's
gonna be a d6.
my misfortune. I'm gonna label it now because now it matters and I have to remember this stuff. 1 success. He
Okay.
could
1 success.
possibly succeed.
But he does not.
He doesn't. He drops his weapon. I think does misfortune still make them go reeling because it is an attack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Any
he's
attack
already
that-
reeling. He's dropped his weapon, and to pick it
Oh
back
my.
up, he has to recover from reeling and then do a stunt to pick it back up.
Okay. So he's not getting his weapon back this turn. Good job. Yeah, he sort of
Well, he
juggles
can't
it
get it
and-
back up. He'll just continue to be reeling and won't be guarded next turn.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
More importantly, he's not helping anyone.
Yeah, no, he drops to all fours and is trying to get this spear back up as townfolk are basically just barreling past him.
Mhm.
All right. Do we want to do anything with Father Elrich and Potter? Are we also? Why do you have the little eye thing on you?
So that I remember that my thaumaturgy is tapped and I have to refresh it.
Good thinking. Okay. So yeah, focus turn for these two.
Yes.
Yeah, that probably sounds appropriate, and he'll probably use his focus to rally someone if they go reeling suddenly.
It's a good call. All right.
Or guard if they get attacked.
So, first things first, let's start with this Connor fellow down here. This guy no longer guarding and no longer within striking range. So he's going to take a stride and he's going to attack without aiming at Connor, who has his defense. And let's see, these guys have.
You're back while that's happening.
That's the wrong one. So they're 2d6 to hit. They're not going to hit you, Connor, but they're going to try.
Gonna parry.
All right. Yes, successful parried. You easily knock the strike away. These guys are going to continue. They're going to stay guarding and stride in because, again, they're trying to keep people from escaping, but they can see that there's combat happening now. So they're trying to get a handle on the situation. These guys up here are just burning. They're all going to be afraid and hurt. These guys who are actually in the crowd are going to push their way. Well, I'm going to wait until Gaston comes back for them, I think, actually. And let's see. Our rhino over here, this guy is within short range. So that's a d8 penalty to rallying. See if he has any gift of. No, not particularly. All right, let's jump up here with De La Vega. De La Vega is going to use an action to draw a pistol.
Pistol versus pistol combat.
Yeah, that's what I expected you to do. So you draw a pistol, and then
he's going to fire the pistol without aiming.
okay, I will dodge. It says my only valid defense.
Right. Now, first things first, we're rolling the spark die, right? It's a d10.
Roll a 1d10. If it doesn't roll a 1, the gun works.
Well, there you go.
Your gun has hanged fire. This is why we have wheel locks in this game. That means that not only does your attack fail, but the wheel is still spinning. So if the gun's going to go off, it's a question of when.
Okay, so what does that...
And then it hangs fire.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
So De La Vega, this albino jackal, pulls this pistol and says a curse to you as he's like, "You bloody irritating messenger." And then he goes to fire and nothing happens. The wheel spins. And...
Oh yeah, it sparks like crazy. It's exciting.
Oh boy. All right. So the end of the round, I will be rolling for that to see if it goes off. Is that how it works?
No, your next turn,
Okay.
you either try again, and if you don't try again, then we roll anyway. So
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Sounds
Okay, I
good. So
think
that was
that's
it
it.
for him.
Wow, it's dramatic.
I know, right? It's exciting. All right. I think that's it for my turn. We're gonna go. Oh no, actually, wait. I wanted to do something with Gaston here. So these two doles who work for the carnival recognize you from earlier, Gaston, and they're gonna push their way through the crowds and try to engage you in combat here. Um,
Feel free. I'd love it if they attacked me without any sort of aiming assistance at all. That would be great.
well, we're gonna do what Connor did actually, and we're going to take a stride dash type situation and guard.
Oh, they're aggressively guarding at me. Okay.
Yep, you're being aggressively guarded at. And these guys, I keep saying that they are doles, but I think specifically they have their dogs. They have the
Mhm.
tactics advantage there.
Ah, that's not good.
So
Yeah,
yes, no
we want to
However, no
guard.
one's
We want
taking
to guard.
advantage of it.
Yeah,
yeah, currently no one is because they use their turns to move and guard.
yeah.
Oh, and I guess these
All right.
guys up here, like, soaked the fire, I guess.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just.
I wasn't
They're
here for that
actually
for a
hurt and
second.
afraid. Yep.
Yeah.
All these guys hurt and afraid.
I could go into fire, but I figured they're not going to bother with anything now.
They're gonna be trying to put themselves out and run away as
Exactly, that'd
fast
be
as they can.
sensible.
Okay, that's it for my action. This guy is going to actually focus. Take a focus turn.
Ooh.
The rhino on the platform. And so we're going to pitch it back to you guys now.
Wow, I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm gonna aim and shoot Televega.
He has a weapon that can't work. He can only dodge. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, he could shoot me next. He could easily shoot me next round with it.
I mean, I guess he could
Uh,
also react with a claw if he wanted.
no, he has to have brawling fighter for that.
Oh, he would.
He does
Yeah,
not,
there you
no.
go.
I'm gonna find out if he's got brawling fighter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're also kind of flying. For Brawling Fighter, he'd have to be within
Well,
striking
it gets
range,
funny
right?
because after the shot, I'm gonna go ahead and drift away. Also, I can recharge flight. For those of you playing along at home, I recharge flight so I don't fall out of the sky because I have flying fighter. Then I aim and then I shoot. Your defense against this is to dodge.
It is at that. Uh, let's see.
Oh wait, sorry. Rolly 10. My gun does not hang fire.
Well, that's good to know. Sorry, I'm just checking a stat block quickly.
He's probably going to dodge.
He's gonna dodge. And I've got some news here. 2d12 dodge. Blam. 11.
Whoa! You have a 2d12 dodge? Well, I'm out
I
of here.
do. I do.
That's my drift.
All right. Okay, so you fired off your shot.
And I'm flying, so I start drifting.
Yep. So you are getting some
Yeah,
distance
and he
between him and
dodges
you.
like a ninja. So, all right.
Indeed, like a ninja. And he's still holding this gun that is sparking. So that's exciting. All right. Let's see. Everyone's got something to do. Everybody's
Yep.
engaged in some kind of combat
I'm
here.
in a fight, and Connor's in a fight.
Yeah, I could dash to here, stride to here. We're playing the backup fight, so I'm gonna get him into the crowd,
Ooh, okay.
and that's my first action, so I can't be guarded anymore. But
Mhm.
I will attack.
All right.
There you go.
And he's going to parry. 2d6 for him.
Can I count the crowd? No, I shouldn't count the crowd as tactics.
You know what? I'm going to give it to you because, yes, they're very much opposed to this guy. And yeah, you could use them as tactics if you'd like.
And now I've exposed his back to them.
Exactly.
I'm
All
going to
right.
reroll that knight errant die.
Yeah. Oh.
I like it.
Yeah, that's two solid successes.
So that's 3 damage plus 2 for the weapon itself. So that's
Okay.
5.
And
He's
these guys are well armored. 2d6 and a d10 plate.
Yikes! Yeah, they're crazy.
Boom and boom. So he soaks 2 of the damage, but you said 5 total?
yes.
Yeah, so he is hurt, afraid, injured, and reeling. So
Okay,
they go
Stone. Do you have the capability to silence that guy?
I do, but I also have 2 people with pack tactics staring me in the face. I'm going to have to stab them first.
All right.
So, I've declared what I'm doing. I'm stabbing someone.
Okay.
So, I have these 2 here. I think pack tactics is on the attack. They are guarding, but
Mhm.
they're also the rogues, and I've already beaten one of them in one-on-one combat, so I'm going to see if I can end this before it starts. Because if
Right.
I take out one of them, I can handle the other one well enough. I
Okay.
will go ahead and aim on this. And let's go ahead and do it. And it is damage plus 3 impaling.
Okay.
Alright, so
Now,
I
if they
haven't...
counter, I'm sorry, quick question though.
Yeah.
If they're guarding, they can claim guard on parry or dodge. Can they also claim it on counter?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I made a mistake when I rolled my macro. I included veteran when I shouldn't have. So one of those damage on
Mhm.
this guy is moot.
Okay. So he's not injured, still just hurt and afraid.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for being honest.
Right? This guy has to avoid, a hit. I don't think he's a veteran, so let's see how well he does.
Okay.
He could
I'm still
screen
trying
out the
to
5.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I want to counter. I'm just gonna counter. That seems like the smart move, right?
Right,
So,
if he's like an aggressive, foolhardy person, just counter me.
yep, yep. Okay. So
Also,
it's gonna be 2d6 to
he has a
counter.
weapon, right?
Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
a dinky dagger.
yeah. Okay, Dinky Dagger. Perfect. Alright,
You
he
better,
does screen
you
out the
Oh,
better.
5. It is still a hit.
all right.
Well, I guess unless he... It doesn't matter
Oh,
what
I
he
didn't
rolls
roll
on his
the.
guard D8, yeah. Now that he's rolled the 5. But he
Right.
can't roll higher than an 11.
Correct. You're right. Okay.
Okay, so
Although,
first
so I just
question,
wasted
does
a
he
nice eight.
retreat?
He cannot because the whole area is packed with people in a
Wonderful.
panic.
So that doubles the successes. So it starts at 2, and then we add 3, so we're at 5.
Oof. I think that's
Yeah,
probably going to be it
impaling's
for him.
very scary, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. When the conditions are right, he only has 1d6 soak, so I think that's yep, and he even fails that. So I think you just put him down.
Uh, isn't 5 is dead immediately. 6 would be overkill, right? Or is it 5 overkill?
5 is dead immediately. 6 is overkill.
Yeah, so I need
Yep.
just one more. Ah, dang it. Ah.
To scare people. But yes, bleh. And you remove this guy's pack tactics, which was probably the move.
Yeah, that's what I needed there. So I feel incredibly relieved just running this guy through before he has even a chance. And that's my turn.
All right. Okay, those were two. I think that was everybody, right?
Guess
Yeah.
there's Father Elric there.
That's true. He's just been
But he
hanging
has
out.
nobody to really rally right now, and unless he like casts a spell, which I mean, we want him here, right?
We want him here, and we're almost done with the session, so maybe we will just we'll pack it up. Now we could do one more round. Let's do one more round, and then we'll do end game wrap up stuff. Okay, so um, let's start with De La Vega. I'm very curious how this gun situation is going to pan out.
You have 2 actions. Do you want to shoot and attack me?
I suppose so. Really, he doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He was ready to fight you if you were going to get in his way, but when you flee, he's probably going to take the opportunity to flee, although he still has a gun that's going to go off. So in that case, maybe he does try to shoot you.
Yeah, I would think you would aim and shoot me.
Yeah, then let's do that.
All right, go ahead and aim and shoot me. First, roll a d8. It's no longer a d10. It went down to a d8.
All right.
Okay,
There's
the gun
the-
works.
All right. Okay. Ranged attack. He's not really a gunner. He's a fencer by trade. He has a
Yeah, but
D6
this
for
still
his ranged
uses
attack,
speed, which you have a d12
which
in.
is a D12. So D12 and a D6. And he's aiming for an additional D12. So whew,
Yep.
D6 and 2D12. All over, man. So, okay.
That is a hit because
That is
that's
a
a
hit.
12. So
Indeed. And you're
that
injured.
and it's hit with a pistol. So it's every success is 2 points of damage, plus 2 from the pistol, plus 1 from injury. That is a 5-point hit. I will go ahead and take the 5-point hit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I didn't soak that. Okay, that would normally kill me,
Normally, yes.
but I will go, since I've had a rest, I'm going to go ahead and tap combat save and not die.
A wise decision.
Yes.
This bullet is aimed right for your heart, but you twist in the air and it just clips you through the wing instead.
Yeah, well, it would have been fatal if not closer. So I am reeling hurt, afraid, and injured, and this resets the injury count.
Indeed, it does.
Yep. Boom. Oh, my old injuries. Okay, that's okay.
Right in the
That's
bullet hole.
yep.
No, right in the
That's right.
Kraken
Yeah.
injury. Okay. All right. This guy is disturbed that you killed his bro Gaston. He's no longer guarding and he no longer has tactics, but he is going to aim and attack you. So that's an additional D8.
I'm declaring
So
counter.
all right. Me 2D6 and a D8 from him. Here it comes. Wow. Not great.
It's mine, and I have a 5. What do you get?
I got a 5 high, so it's a tie.
It's a tie. So that means it is a simultaneous hit. However, alright, so ties. That means 1 success, correct? For calculating damage?
Is
One
that what it is?
success per die matching.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you
I
still
have
get 2
2,
successes.
and he can't retreat. So it
Correct.
starts at 4, and we add 3, we're at 7.
Right.
I was holding up fingers when my camera was so obscured. So, he's in terrible straits, and I'm not sure he can soak very much.
No, he's not armored at all, so this is pretty much
Mhm.
the end for him. Let's see what we got. And I'm just rolling like a champion, so
That is
he
7,
botches,
he
that would
is
be an
overkilled.
extra. Overkilled, although he does catch you on his way down, right? So,
Yeah, I'm still gonna have to soak my own hit, so tell me what damage he does to me.
okay, so it's just a damage +1, which means 2 damage total to soak.
I have taken 1 point of damage.
All right, you are hurt, but he is dispatched. And I think that's within 4 paces, which means that it would just be the executioner up here, the rhino.
Right.
Juggler executioner.
The executioner sent his lackeys to go fight me. He watches one of them get killed immediately, and in a riposte, this guy is just torn to shreds as like a organ comes out the other side. And he's looking at this, crossing his arms and going, "Do I really want to do this?"
Yeah, just like, yeah,
And
no
then
longer.
get some looks at the weapon. It will kill.
It will kill. Yeah. Now, has he maintained his focus from last turn? The fear doesn't mess with that, does it?
It does.
Oh, it does.
It does. Okay, then. So he just has his 2 actions, I guess. And I believe he's going to use a stunt to bail and run his full distance, which, let's see, he's the executioner. He has 20. He can get a good far distance, and he's not even reeling because he'll use the second action to recover. But I think that's just going to put him out of
You
town,
if you
essentially.
go reeling, your turn ends, so you use your stunt at the end of turn. He could guard and run, so this way he's reeling and guarded.
Oh, I
But
see, right, because
but he's
reeling
gonna
immediately
leave
ends and
anyway,
recover.
so and he's off the map too.
He's basically off the map. We're gonna say that for all intents and purposes, he's out of
Right. No
combat.
one's gonna chase him, and he's kind of fine with it. He's out.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that was some brilliant swords work, my friend. These guard are a little bit less concerned now that they see that De La Vega is in trouble. He's in a gun battle. They're going to begin to move towards you. You're the only ones who are really putting up much resistance. Everyone else is just going to try to run. So they're going to wade into the crowd and close the distance here. No longer.
Well,
No, these are cautious folk.
one of them has to pick up their weapon at least. At least that's something.
That's true. This guy's not going to do much, but he's going to try to recover his weapon and his reeling. So no longer these, but also no
Well,
longer guarding.
he will end up reeling from picking something up off the ground, though.
Oh, is that a stunt as well?
Yes.
Yeah, picking
Great.
something off the ground is a stunt.
So I've wasted a
Because
lot of his
players-
time. It's great.
It's almost worse than killing someone because players, oh my god, I dropped something. I can't just leave it here.
Okay. This guy is going to move 5 hexes with his dash and his stride up to here. Actually, I think that might only be 4, but he's basically going to try to cut you off from your companion there. This guy is similarly going to move in for the
He's just guarding. He's not going for an attack.
not going for an attack yet, just sort of
Okay.
closing the distance. They're just letting the chaos happen. These guys up here I've kind of ignored, but they're all going to bolt.
The funny part is at this point, the entire crowd can just go ahead and leave. No one's stopping them because they're just acting very defensively. And that guy over
Exactly,
there doesn't
yeah.
even have a weapon.
Yeah. Any pretense of this going off the way it should have is gone. It's over. The dude to the north here is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and will also be guarding. You can see that located around all of these buildings, there are the barrels, and you can see that since the morning when you sabotaged them, they have had fuses run up to them, and in the distance, you can see several of the carnival folk are lighting these long fuses and then basically just running out of town. And the fuses are snaking their way to the barrels. But as they enter the barrels, there's a hiss, a damp little psst, and nothing happens. So yeah, De La Vega shouts an order to the guards. He points at your group and he says, "Make sure they don't leave." And then he's basically looks like he's turning and he's done with this whole scene, this fiasco. And we're gonna end it there. I'm sorry, Connor. You should take an action as. Oh no, wait, because it was. We're not done quite yet. This guy is going to recover from reeling,
He gets
but he's
one
also
chance.
afraid.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
he's afraid. He can't attack.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he's just gonna dash away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although he can't recover from fear because he's still within line of sight of y'all. And that's where we're gonna pick it up next time. You guys will have the first action.
Sounds good.
So I'll leave a note there so we remember.
So I guess let's do mottos.
Let's do mottos and gifts. And we'll start with Arkloyd. Do you think you played your motto?
One hand washes the other, and now that I've seen what loyalty to the king earns, I am now helping these people even more so.
I think that counts. That's excellent. And I'm glad to see that he struggled with his belief system. Uh, um, but I'm glad that faced with true horrors, he's going to do the knightly thing. Appreciate that. Griffin.
I am perfection incarnate. And wow, isn't that true? I am the perfect swordsman.
You've slain 3 that attacked you.
Well, I've slain 2.
So
The other guy
far.
got away with and he gets to tell everyone how great I am now.
Exactly. True. Okay. And Rafferty for Anushka.
No fear, serve with joy. I delivered message, and I also shot at somebody I had no business shooting at.
Yeah, man, no fear. I think that definitely counts. So let's talk about the gifts that you guys came across and accomplished, right? You did manage to secure the Rinaldi heirloom, and for that, I want to offer everyone, and some of you will like this, most of you probably won't care, but I want to offer you the gift of knack for skill swimming because
Well,
things
we
got a little wet
did
and
wind up
wild.
in the water.
Yeah,
Okay, so knack is 1 free mark, and you can tap it for, what is it, a reroll?
I think it's a full reroll of a skill. It's
Yeah,
like a super favor.
yeah.
It might actually be good for me to keep because I have swimming as a species die.
Yeah. It's especially useful if you're, I don't know, doing water magic.
Yup, which means I go up to a D10 now.
Nice.
Isn't that nice?
Right? And so the other, just to recap, we also collected, I think, 2 gifts. One was to defend the town of Mage Cross, right? And the other was to deliver the uh, sword into Rinaldi hands.
Right.
Um, I'm not going to cross that one off just yet. I don't know how much
I'm
of this
still
you've picked
cursed.
up, but you're
Yeah.
still cursed. And until we resolve that, we're just going to assume that,
Yeah,
yeah,
once
there's
the
more to
fight's
that one.
over, we have it. Sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. Well, that was a blast, guys. Any questions, any concerns, anything you'd like to see more or less of in a future session?
I think this went great.
Will I be having an orphan on my hands very soon?
You might. You might be
This is a
having
new
an
record for
orphan.
me. I've almost died twice in many sessions.
You
Yeah,
like to keep
you're
things
highly
spicy.
aggressive for just the messenger, you know.
Well,
I'm
you know,
starting
Trying
to
to
feel a little
shoot
bit
people with
aggressive,
guns.
but I'm also taking on. I'm punching way above my weight.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree.
All right.
So let's see. You guys, the XP thing for the debrief is 1 XP, right?
That's right.
Is it also 1 for playing the motto, so 2 XP for the session?
Yeah, so
That's
it's
right.
usually 2 XP per session. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it has been an honor, gentlemen, and I look forward to next week.
All right. We'll catch you all next time. This has been Ironclaw. See ya, everybody.
Thank you for running and take care.
Thank you for
There's
playing.
also been this cat. Hello, cat.
Hello, cat.